Chelsea have enjoyed a very fruitful January transfer window, but their winter spending spree has presented the Blues with a Champions League registration problem. Chelsea are only allowed to register a maximum of 3 new players for the knockout stages of the Champions League before taking on Borussia Dortmund in the last 16 starting on February 15. The problem for Chelsea is that they signed 8 new players in January. Clubs have to inform UEFA of their desired squad changes by 11 p.m. on Thursday, February 2. This deadline cannot be extended. UEFA will publish full list of ins and out once they have been approved. The 3 new registered players are allowed to have played for another club in European competitions this season so far, so being cup-tied for the knockout stages is not an option for any of the players. All clubs are limited to a 25-man squad, and Chelsea used 24 players in the group stage, with only one of them, Jorginho, leaving the club in the January transfer window. Out of the 8 new players Chelsea signed last month, Malo Gusto is staying on loan at Lyon, and Andre Santos is waiting for a work permit. That leaves Graham Potter with the dilemma of picking 3 players for his Champions League squad from the list of 6. Enzo Fernandez, Mikhailo Modric, João Felix, Benoit Badiashile, David Dastra Fofana, and Noni Madueke. Meanwhile, all the new signings can be registered in Chelsea's Premier League squad, as there are no restrictions on how many changes team can make. However, there is a 25-player limit, so some of the current Chelsea squad could make way for new arrivals. The Premier League's registration deadline is also on Thursday. The most likely new player to be included is record signing Fernandes, who arrived for £105 million on deadline day. Putting it simply, you can't spend that much money on the player not to use him in the Champions League. Just imagine the World Cup winner's face if new manager Graham Potter was to tell him he can't play at Europe's top table just hours after arriving in West London. That's going to be a big problem to the boy. Meanwhile, the loss of Jorginho to Arsenal on the same day means Chelsea are light on midfielders who can play in that deep role. Even with Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Conor Gallagher, Mason Mount and Mateo Kovacic to choose from, expect Fernandes to be registered. The pressure of the Ukrainian winger's £88 million price tag also put pressure on Potter to include him in the Champions League squad. In a brief debut cameo against Liverpool, Modric showed that he belongs at the highest level of football. Meanwhile, the attacker featured for Shakhtar Donetsk in the Champions League group stages, scoring 3 times, so he is another player with a strong chance of being selected by Chelsea. Now, here is where the dilemma kicks in. What do you do with João Felix? With 7 goals in 27 Champions League appearances, the Portuguese forward brings enough experience to the table to make him a useful option to have in the competition. However, there is no guarantee that Felix will be at Stamford Bridge next season. So, should his morale be prioritized over a fellow young signing who will be there in years to come? Furthermore, if Modric is registered, do Chelsea need another attacker in a strike force that includes Raheem Sterling, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Kai Havertz? That being said, the other side of the coin shows that Chelsea may only have Felix for a short amount of time, so they might as well use him as much as they can. Don't forget what centre-back Badiashile can bring to the table, especially looking at his first 2 outings for Chelsea since his £35 million arrival from Monaco. The 21-year-old has started 2 Premier League games so far, and Chelsea has kept clean sheets in both of them. It's a small sample size, but Chelsea's backline does look a bit more organized with a young defender in it. What Badiashile will likely argue is that the inclusion of him, Fernandes, and one of Modric and Felix means Chelsea are adding a defender, midfielder, and an attacker to the Champions League squad, thereby bringing in a new spine to their outfield ranks. But is the law of including the 3 aforementioned players too big for Potter? With Kalidou Koulibaly, Wesley Fofana, Thiago Silva, Trevor Chalobah, Marco Correa, and Cesar Azpilicueta all able to play in a back 3, Badiashile is looking at a lot of centre-back rivals. There is a lot of positivity around Madueke's arrival for PSV Eindhoven, with the 20-year-old possessing a box of tricks and wide positions that can arm any defense. What lets the England under-21 international down is that he has not played a match in the Champions League proper before, and with the likes of Modric and Felix as alternative options, Madueke looks like one of the players who will miss out, at least for this season. Fofana was the first January arrival for Chelsea in the window, but his limited display since Chelsea has signed him in the first week of the year means he's also set to be left out. The striker is yet to make his Premier League debut for the club despite being named in 3 matchday squad, and with 3 forwards ahead of him in the queue, his Champions League involvement looks nigh on impossible. It's 3 from 6. You would think Noni Madueke and David Destro Fofana will miss out as they are quite young. So you're left with 4 big money signings: Enzo Fernandez, Mikhailo Modric, João Felix, and Bernard Badiashile. Enzo Fernandez has got to be in the squad for £105 million. Modric has to be in the squad for £88 million. So you're wondering, is it going to be João Felix or Bernard Badiashile who is going to miss out? João Felix is a brilliant player on loan. How will they react to being left out? Then there's Bernard Badiashile, who has had a good impact so far as centre-back. Would Chelsea want to go into the Champions League without him in their squad? Well, let's know what you think in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification button. And remain that person you always want to listen to, Timmy K.